Campbell's Comments would like to thank all of its sponsors who contribute to what we do, including Woodland Stud, Barrastock Horse, team at Harasta Trotters and Yabby Dam Farms, as well as Nutrient Equine and Nutrient Equine Standardbreds, and also the team at NZB and NZB Standardbreds, plus so many more of our great sponsors. Thank you for everything you do. Rightio, welcome everyone to On Loose Lines, and thank you very much for joining me. A little bit of feedback about tonight's show, and I want some positive thoughts and positive, those people getting involved in the show. Brad Steele's on the go already. He is sending me some text messages and the like. So tonight's show will be a little bit differently. One, I've got internet back, so that's a good thing after massive power outages last week. Might just have to turn my volume up just a touch by the looks. But we had massive power outages last week, so I couldn't get a show out, so I do apologise. So tonight's show is about how do we do our industry differently? What sort of industry do people want in harness racing? So what I wanted with the show, the idea of the show, and what to, I suppose, get it out there and get the messages out there and people being involved in the show, to not be involved in the show, but people to start thinking, we need to do things differently. I'm going to show everyone's comments because I'm not that sort of person that won't show, because I've asked people to put their thoughts across. So that's exactly what I will do very, very shortly. I'll get to that. But the main crux of the show was to actually come up with some ideas on how we can do what we do differently. Got quite a few people already watching, but how we can actually get the word out there for harness racing in a different way. Get some messaging out there. There's been a lot of feedback from a lot of people. The rating system, I'm not going to touch on the rating system here tonight. This show, On Loose Lines and Campbell's Comments, is a fun show, and it is meant to be fun. Jeffrey Dixon, hello to you, mate. It is meant to be fun, and that is the whole idea of this show, is to get people in and enjoy it and be a part of it. So there are plenty of people watching. Gary Downey's been a part of it. I've had plenty of people come to me with ideas. One of the biggest problem a lot of people have is they reckon they don't get heard with their ideas. I don't know if you don't get heard. It possibly you don't get feedback afterwards. I'm sorry, I've got a fair bit of paper going on here, and there might be reasons for that. Hello to you, Barb from Sedgwick, regular watcher as well. There's plenty of there could be a lot of reasons as to why we don't get feedback on some of our ideas. I know I have a lot of ideas out there and people don't get back to me. So I think don't ever stress that people don't listen and don't watch. Geez, there's some people watching. Jeff Dowling, hello to you. Diane Morrissey, Nathan Rice, Luke Scales. Michael Ross, hello to you, Michael. I believe Wagga, because I've had a phone call from Wagga, is no better than Victoria today. So hello to you, mate. Just former steward. And I'm pretty sure he's living in Wagga these days. So yeah, and then sorry, just getting rid of the stuff we didn't need to have onto that there. Plus, I also want people to, I suppose, be respectful for other people. Are we looking from the industry or outside of it? Anthony Jupp on YouTube. So please, the YouTube comments can't come up. Get involved in Facebook. I can get them up, but I can read them there. Juppy, we're looking from everywhere. The betting and the punting is one thing that Juppy will be right across. Happy to leave that out of tonight. We need to do that. But what we need to do is how do we get people like Anthony Jupp that works for SwiftBet, Tara Tom and those guys, not only enthusiastic about the product that we put out, but also the future of harness racing, I suppose, and getting it out there in a better way. Brookie Hammond, hello to you. Nick Limati, hello to you. David Shaw and Reese Moore from Mildura. So there are plenty of people out there who have got plenty of ideas, and I encourage people to get in and put your ideas in. As I said, I am going to get through as many of those. If I know someone and someone wants to get involved on a phone call, if they've got my phone number, text me please text me first if I can. I will, but I definitely want to be respectful to everyone. Not sure what that one was just then. I got two things going on here, and someone's just okay, sorry, Grant's chimed in with a comment. Right, I'll get them up. I wasn't sure what was happening then. Sorry about that. Very, very easy. I've got one more on YouTube. Chris Lang, hello to you. That's Junior. Paul West, I think the sports image as a whole could be improved. It's commonly known as cheats on seats, and a lot of punters won't entertain betting on it. Absolutely, Paul. How do we change it? Hello to you, Scotty Purden. How do we change it, Paul West? That is off YouTube. The crux of what he just said there, it's cheats on seats. I don't think we are. Dan Robertson, more exposure for young race callers. Bendigo do this well. I wonder if that Dan is the same Dan that was working there. But yep, absolutely. If we get more young people, callers involved, it will get the message out there as well. So please keep these ones coming through. I've got buttons everywhere. Anyone who knows this show knows exactly what I was going. Grant was meant to be at the physio. Just saying. Happy to just put that out there anyway. Rightio. So I am still on. You just won't be able to see my face. So Grant Gamble, when you can go 2.5, you get $2,000. When you go 157, you go 5. In other words, incentivize it for people to go quicker. Absolutely don't have an issue at all with that. And maybe that's the other thing. Incentivize it to get horses through faster classes a lot quicker as well. So is that by that what I mean is potentially the fast class horses race for more money. And I know people won't like that idea, but at the end of the day, it's a way of keeping horses going through and changing them up, and then getting people involved, because everyone wants to have a good horse and a horse going well as well. Juanita Breen, hello to you, Neats, and well done on the other day. Des Hughes from Warrigal. I have to do it. That'll be a scam as well, that phone number. Sorry about that. Having been involved over many years, taking note of all comments and suggestions over a long time. My question is, when are we going to hear from the headquarters and our new CEO on the future of the industry? Surely it can be done similar to South Australian CEO video recently. The silence is deafening. We deserve better. I do believe he will get back to us, Des. There's not a worry there at all. He will get the message out there. The other note that you did say there, Des, though, was South Australia, and the reason I came back on screen is I want to make sure, please, YouTube, I will get to you guys as well. It's going to be a very busy night, so please, if I haven't mentioned your message, just give me a minute. South Australia, huge positive news yesterday with the increase up to $10,000 minimum stakes and other races as well. So going forward, and then today $200,000 injected into their Southern Cross race series. So that is also another plus. This show's going to get very messy. I'll keep trying as we go. David Shaw, current race sponsors. Industry based, for example, the Eureka. We need race sponsors whose product is those outside of the industry that will then raise interest. Dave, you're spot on, and one of the issues with that is that was what the whole Eureka was designed to do. Gary Newton, reward breeders better without foals. We don't have race fields. Reward breeders better. Oh, without foals, we don't have race feeds. I know that as well. Hey, Linda. Hello to you, Linda Mays. She's been spending the day with the wife and daughter. So hopefully she had a lovely day and enjoyed herself going forward. On loose lines. It's not current affair. We'll quickly have a quick look at these guys on YouTube. Not sure, mate. I love the trots and I love punting on it. So Paul West, I asked him the question, how do we change it? He's not sure. Anthony Jupp, one thing that I have noticed the other day when I went to Lord's Raceway, the powers that be at HRV have stuck with the JV partner tab. Their decline has gone hand in hand in harness racing's decline. And I think that is one of the issues, Juppy, and I think a lot of people are actually looking at that. Juddy, I'll get to you. We've got Juppy and Juddy fair thinking. Everyone knows I have trouble with that. Mark Hughes, good evening to you. Woodland's own Mark Hughes. I don't have any sponsors on tonight because I wasn't sure where this would go. And thanks for the chat with the little brother, Hughesy, too. All's under control, I promise. Yes, and I do know years ago when Brendan Baker was at Bendigo Juppie, there was the opportunity to be called Lord's Raceway, and might have been Ladbrokes. I think it was Ladbrokes Lord's Raceway. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that. But that is the agreement that we've been signed into. But how do we change it? Well, that's for people to know. If you look at the Greyhounds, they have no doubt who the major sponsor is, and they are the best at marketing in Oz. And I will say one thing with the Greyhounds, and there's a few things we were going to bring up onto that as well, Juppie. In New South Wales, every race, I think it's Wentworth Park, every of the dogs' bibs on the normal nights is a bookmaker, a corporate bookmaker. They sponsor and they get out into that. Hello, Katie. Good morning to you from Wales. We'll go there. I've got to go back. Duncan McPherson, hello to you. Craig Judd. We definitely need a track in the city. Melton is a train wreck. I unfortunately don't think the showgrounds will ever happen, so move on. Let's look at other options. No bigger than 1,000. No bigger than 1,000, sorry. That's number one. Number two, we need new administration. Monteith train wreck. Monteith Watkinson the rain has been a train wreck, and for the record, I am confident Matt Isaacs is a fresh breath of air, but we need this relic's gone. As for the positive ideas, and I'll send thoughts through shortly. Very, very good. Philip Wood, hello to you. Right, go back here. Let's go back and get some of these other horses, the ones off. But Des makes a few good points there, but also I'm sure that he will get out Matt Isaacs at some stage in the near future. Joe Pace, this is a good one. Joe Pace, 2-horse match race against the clock. In between races, winner take all, selected horses like in the Greyhounds. So in the Greyhounds, if I think it came about with COVID. Now I've got a few Greyhound boys that get on and watch going along. I've got a few. I'll get to you, Hughesy, in a minute. They have the 2-horse races. Now I think they came about because of COVID. I'm not 100% sure on why, but they came about with COVID because we couldn't travel as much. So if you missed out, if one of the good horses missed out on a cup run, they would have a two-dog match race. And the betting turnover on these is through the roof. I like this idea. This is what I was after from Joe Pace. These are some of the ideas I was after. They race against the clock in between races. Winner takes all. All or nothing. Change it up. Have it a little bit differently. So I don't disagree with that. Phil Morrison. I don't understand this one, Phil, but I will try and get through there. One of the most astute followers in harness racing should actively persuade one of the most forward-thinking people that has spent his life in harness racing. Unfortunately, I don't understand that one, but I will continue to go there. Grant Campbell. Joe Allard suggested weight. Great idea. Give it a try. How about a level of stake money paid is dependent on time ran? Have a starting point and a cap on it. If you go slow, you get less. If you let one run, you get more. That'd be exciting. Imagine that. That's actually cool. I like that idea. That is very, very cool. I'm just going to... Here's Joe Addards. Sorry, I didn't have them up. Not that it really matters. I'm sure people don't mind the fact that I am reading these out. Paul, I think we have to try something. This is Joe Addards' idea. Something different. Like as they say, weight will stop anything. So put weight on the harness and in the seats of the sulkies. It's easier to put weight on and carry weight like the Gallops do. Just a thought. That's exactly what I'm after. Just thoughts. So thank you very much. Jason Stewart, I miss Channel 31, good old days watching the trots, harness racing, and clearly needs its own channel. Now this, of course, Steve Cleve got involved here. Jamie Stewart, we have trotsvision.com, every race across Victoria live and hosted coverage every Saturday night and also major race days. Jason Stewart's response is spot on. It's not a free and it's free-to-air TV and go from there. I don't want to pick on Steve or anything like that. The problem that is, there's so many problems with Trots Vision. It should be an app at the very least. You can't accidentally find it. It is good. It was great when COVID was on because people were able to watch it, but it needs to evolve. Now, whether we can evolve it as an industry, that is a big question. So we need to evolve it, but don't kid ourselves that it is a TV show. It is a web-based internet, I'm I'm not exactly sure what you'd call it, but it's no different. You can actually watch right now. You can be watching Campbell's Comments on campbellscomments.com.au and go from there. I'm going to keep going through. These are the messages yesterday. The guys on YouTube, please be careful. Behave. Janice Boyle totally agrees. Something must happen. The NR system doesn't work. Handicapping people have contacted them, so we definitely need to go that way and change it. As I said, I'm not going to dwell on the NR system. That is an issue for Harness Racing Australia. Sharon Murphy is from New South Wales, Maitland, and New South Wales too is where she's saying there is asking for help. Rightio. Didn't want that. Sorry. I need to see more. Thank you. Helen Windsor Riley. Now, I don't know Helen. She does comment a fair bit on Campbell's comment stuff. Having read many comments in this post, I see there is various technical aspects that supporters view the shortcomings to address. I'm not knowledgeable in these matters. However, I do think improved marketing of harness racing could make a significant difference and improve patronage. I made a suggestion directly to HRV many months ago to consider owning a great theme song that could be used at major Vic harness events. The one I think of that captures my feelings and emotions is Bon Jovi's It's My Life, and I feel something for the current, future and followers. The song sends a message about the choice of following path in the sport and is fully exciting and self-assertion. Rugby League did it with Tina Turner, getting more exposure to the racing, free-to-air and other media is interesting race outcomes, stories like, and then she would like more stories like the Bob Cookenmeister, which was terrific. Unlike many other sports where patrons may also have been a sports person in that sport, harness racing must attract patrons from different perspective, interests, either betting, entertaining, love the horses, enjoy competition, follow and cheer a trainer, driver, follow and cheer a horse. And I agree. There is a couple of problems, obviously, with copyright. You'd have to cost a fair bit, I would imagine, but their ideas and go from there. Jodie Herbertson, programming is her issue, and I think if I started on programming, we would be going through a long time. It is something that people need to be aware of, so thank you very much, Jodes. A good starting point would be to scrap the farcical handicapping rating system. So here we are again with the rating system. That's from Brian Mackerel. I'm not going to dwell on it too long, Brian. I don't disagree with you. There definitely needs to be something looked at, and I'm sure by all these messages people will be looking at them. Smaller rating gaps on races. This is like a chick. Also full Vic bred bonuses for horses that win at any age, and go from there. I think there's a little bit of merit in honouring the Victorian bred horses as well. Mark Simmons, pretty simple. Change the drop back rule. Maidens 1-2 wins, 3-4 wins, 5-6 wins. No horse comes back under 75. No $4,500 races, and no less than $9,000. No less than $9,000 have 10 meetings a week. No racing on a Wednesday. Interesting thought as well, the Wednesday. Timmy White, hello to you, mate. Great to see you. You're on there as well. Ideas. We know the issues. Simply talking about them won't change them. Paul wants proactive comments, not reactive comments, and that's exactly right. Grano, thank you very much. So then Grant's saying scrap the time restrictions. Greg Streeter, simply swab harder and put the cheats out for life. It's easy to say these things. There's so many more ramifications with that. To put people out for life, it could be a misdemeanor, a nothing thing, but if a cheat is a cheat, so you have to be very careful as you go there. Ebony Harris, corporate bookmakers to pay more percentage of turnover made from our product. A very small percentage of punters these days bet on the TAB, which is where we derive most of our income. Drivers' fees should be paid separately from the advertised stake money. I know $7,000 looks better than $6,300 on paper. It's smokes and screens and mirrors. For the owners, the reality is they are being ripped off. Overhaul the NR system. $4,000 races have to go. Claiming races coming back. And then Tony Zera as well here. He goes again with the claiming races. I will get to all the comments, please. I am coming. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, our biggest turnover days and nights, and they need to be our best days. We need to have 12 races on the card with races being 20 minutes apart. I don't think that'll happen with Sky, so I think we have to go give that one up, especially on those busy nights, the 30-minute gaps. One of the problems is the 12-race card is that if you have a runner in the first and the last, it is a taxing on trainer and horse. It's also taxing on the owners, and the owners are the people we want to go there. We want to get syndicates. We want people to go there. Randy and barrier draws need to be dropped. Lowest rating horses should have the best draws in the races. NR system is the difference, and unfortunately, got it. There's a see more button. There we are. I used to be known as a claiming king years ago and introduced a lot of new people to the industry. I can't justify paying unreasonable prices now for the claimers, and I think the claimers have dropped by the wayside. David Flynn, sadly the industry in Victoria is a victim of total incompetent decisions, such as the number one problem engulfing the industry, handicapping system. So the NR system, I have no issues with, Dave. Your comments are there to be read on yesterday's post, so please, I'm not giving the quick over. I just got so many to get through here at the minute. Oldman Jelly, I think we went pear-shaped when the little trainer was basically forced out. The inevitable for the big boys. Look at Traralgon. 10 or so trainers were there. Friends of mine went. No one. I only go to Warragul to see. They still sponsor the Traralgon Cup, and it is great that they do that. But again, we can't look back. I'm looking for ideas for going forward, so I do appreciate those. Jeff Dixon, he's put comments in here before. Paul, as you know, I've worked for many years with the Gallopses, but love the Standardbred. I've seen how both codes flourish and fail. But without people with the vision and the foresight of the industry, we stall. I've watched racing at the showgrounds, Moonee Valley and Melton 3 years ago. I went on a Sunday night to Kilmore, took a dozen people with me. The prize money was only $3,000 a race. Most not betting races, not much in the pools. On a Sunday, Kilmore race again, prize money $4,000, many short price favourites. So there's so many issues there. Gary Dowling, he has been typing in as well. It's really a crunch time for harness racing, Paul. Might already be too late, but I can appreciate that HRV are hamstrung to the extent given current turnover in terms of increasing prize money. Bread and butter races, however, urgently needs to happen, as does in-depth review of the NR system. Don't do it there. He wanted a training centre at Bacchus Marsh, I believe, is going to happen, and a Metropolitan Melbourne track. So, yep, going from there. Brent Thompson, this is an interesting one for me. Hi, Paul. I've asked if we could record the meetings in the Trainers and Drivers Association. I don't know why this doesn't happen with the hierarchy. I'd like to know what is getting said behind there. I don't think they've got anything to hide behind, so I'm not sure about that one. To see drivers, possibly trainers, get a percentage of the first win bonus, and owners should get. Oh yeah, so he doesn't want the trainers and the drivers to get anything. He believes that the first win bonus should all go to the owner, and it should be a $20,000 first win bonus. Stan Tanzer, relax. Stan, unfortunately, relax the whip rule. You've got no chance because that is a social issue worldwide. It has got nothing to do with harness racing. Every code is battling with the whips, and they will not go backwards. So I appreciate that one. Needs to be more incentive to get people to the track. 3-day carnivals, bands, cheaper meals, big raffles. Absolutely, Aaron Mountain. That's what we've got to try and do. Jack Bryant, there needs to be a training centre built at Melton, or somewhere close to Melton. Then he talks about the NR system. Again, I can't change that. He then wants claiming races back as well. I'm after ideas of getting people to the industry. This is what I'm trying to do, is get people actually to the industry. So let's be aware of that. No more than 4 horses per... So Ruth McLeod, this is an interesting one. I'll better flick it back up. No more than 4 horses per trainer each race. The problem I have with that, Ruth, is that is, at the minute, I understand where you're going with that. But what happens if all of a sudden I have a good run and I have five 2-year-olds in my stable? Does that mean that Paul Campbell and Marie Campbell aren't allowed to race 4 horses because of that one rule? So I do worry a little bit about that rule. Understand where you're coming from with it. What happens if you have 4 horses in 2 heats and all 8 make the final? Do you have to pick which ones don't go into the final? So that, I understand it, but I think there's a few issues with it. Robert Sphere, get more people in ownership with syndication football teams. This is what we want to go and watch. Atmosphere. Also, somehow give horses an opportunity to trial and race, even if they're not fastest ones current rating support. So I didn't understand this, but I will put it up here. If they're not fastest ones, current rating support. Good horses that won a lot already going back into races that should be for horses that cost the same to breed and break in. So again, another gripe with the rating system. Again, I can't fix that one. Some creative programming, this is Jason Ainsworth, great trotting man, would go a long way. At the moment, it's copy and paste, I reckon. Restrictions on lifetime wins, splitting races on lifetime wins could prevent 20-win horses taking on 3-win horses. Pay for the product. Everyone that produces a horse to race should be getting paid a reasonable amount for being there. No one should lose money for racing their horses. Melton is the best turnover track in Victoria, yet it races once a week. Absolutely. Brett Walston, racing needs to come back to the city. That's where the gambling money is. Moonee Valley, the showgrounds. A training centre is important for the future. Less $4,500 races, more $7,000 races. And Crackers Bibby, less races and more prize money. Better races, better interest. So that is a list of everyone that got into my posts the day before. Thankfully, Mark Hughes said evening, Paul, and I knew that's where I was up to. Got to honour all of my Facebook friends. There's quite a few. Right, Phil Ralph was the last one. Philip Woods, sorry. One thing I see in Victoria is that this is Jeffrey Dixon, that when we have a great number of young trainers and drivers mixed with our experienced members that are the best in the industry, and we need to support them. So that's an outsider looking in. That's not a harness person. That's a great thing to see. Sharon Ralph would love to see the standing starts back, especially in the country cups. I agree with that. I know the TAB turnover, people will talk about that, but it's the fabric. It's what made harness racing different. It is something, I don't want to keep going backwards, but it is something that I think we need to do. Bendigo Harness Racing. Bendigo continues and wants to be a progressive cub. Happy to try new ideas. Two-horse head-to-head race and the thumbs up. So well done to the boys for jumping on board there. Standing starts for the high-class horses, Philip Wood. Brookie Hammond, big shout-out to HRA for a poxy stallion limits. We need more foals on the ground. How is this going to happen? For example, I'm very small Tassie breeder looking to expand and improve the breeding. Purchased a mare from the Winter Woolly sale. The majority of commercial stallions are booked out. Makes it very hard for the little guys. Makes it hard for the big guys, Brookie. Don't worry about that. Where did we get to? Right there. David Lawrence, we have 2 lines of horses behind the gate. Why can't we have some handicap back on the 3rd line? Interesting thing, but imagine it gets a bit tricky. The wrong horse gallops there, Dave. I do have an issue with that, but yep. HRA needs to readdress the stallion numbers. Why not 140 plus returns like us? That would open the book up, Brooke. Hi, Paul. Karen Manning for CEO. Hello to you, Claire. Hot potato truck at every track. Yep, wouldn't hurt, actually. Race less, therefore having full-size fields, potential better betting turnover. This also lessens the burnout factor, trainers and drivers. The less racing, there should be more prize money to inject into the races. Trainers and drivers should get nothing of the money earned for finishing sixth to last should be 100% to the owners. Bring back the stands, amateur and cadet race series like in New Zealand. That was actually Clinton McSwain. Sorry, Clinton. David Flynn, get rid of the stupid stallion tax. That funds the race. Rank and file harness participants that don't want. Fix the points system that encourages $100,000 plus earners to race under 50-point maidens in 3-year-olds and non-winners. If the points system don't change soon, it will be the end of the industry. And we need to be promoting the fun, ownership and experience. Toby's interview on SEN yesterday with Steve Solder was a great example. We need to bottle these thoughts and ideas and sell it to the masses. So that is everyone off there. I've still got the Twitter ones to get to. Don't know how I get this right. So back to the YouTube viewers, and I really do appreciate these. And anyone that's watching on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll go from there. If you look at the greyhounds, this is Anthony Jupp. If you look at the greyhounds, they have no doubt. You've no doubt who the major sponsors are. Sorry, Paul. Harness racing needs a public syndication company like Paces Australia, who were a clear leader in the syndications in the 90s. That's from Mark Hughes, and that is one thing that Paces Australia, which is now OTI. I'm pretty sure they still go as OTI. Hughesy, you might bail me out on that one, but they win races all over the world now in the thoroughbreds. Have no involvement at all in the standardbreds. Please, if you have an idea, put the idea up. I don't have an issue with it. John O'Donoghue, running more metro meetings away from the metropolitan to the top tracks around Victoria, as well. Think of where races are run in winter, like as in Kilmore. And that is a bugbear that a lot of people have. But I can tell you, it's not much warmer here in Bendigo. Maybe we need better... I'm not sure what's going on here. I just had another one come through. It might come through in a sec. But anyway, it did this to me the other day. So if I've missed your comments, I do apologise, but we'll see how we go. Right, Anthony Jubb. The dogs have... and just on that, I know Bendigo, the Bendigo Standardbreds racing Saturday week at Bendigo. So make sure you get your dining packages and dinner packages and get involved there as well. That's a free plug going from there. Anyone, go and check out the menu at Ballarat, the Ballarat Harness Racing Club too. I know it caught Cambray's eye, a few other things going on there. Bobby Sinclair, the industry survives with exposure, new fresh eyes on the sport, new owners. How do you get them when the programming... Oh, this is a very long one, Bobby. No wonder it took a while to come through. I better go this way. When the program is dominated by thoroughbreds, the advertising of the industry is basically left up to the race callers in the 3 minutes. 3 minutes you get before the start of the race. I see great promotions being done in numerous racing clubs on their socials, but that promotion's severely lacking from the industry bodies. There needs to be weekly programs across all states to showcase and market their product. Easiest way to bring people to the track, ownership, syndications is simple, easiest and cost-effective way to do it. Auckland Trotting Club used to race multiple horses in syndicates with 50 to 100 owners. They would turn up in numbers every Friday to watch their horses and looked after the members at the track. Look at the thoroughbreds, what they are doing with micro shares, huge groups of owners having a blast. Having a blast at the track week in, week out. Talk to young people. Stop texting, you guys. Talk to young people in the industry about what they want to see. Talk to the people who are doing the innovative things. Talk to the likes of Luke Kemsey from Boys Get Paid in New Zealand. They have constantly been able to run successful events at major meetings, as well as putting on a lot of money into club turnovers and punting venues. Jeff Dixon, I don't think what happened the other night with a field of 6 races in 10 horses for the same trainer and driver. I don't think what happened the other night with a field of 6 racing for $10,000 and all trained by the same trainer and driver, not the trainer's fault, but bad programming. Probably shouldn't have been on. They didn't need to run the race. Definitely need to explore more syndications, get new people involved for less dollars. Going there. Definitely need to explore more syndicates, get new people involved. Guess what? We can do the syndicates ourselves as well. Going from there, there's heaps of people. Jack Law's on, Rob McCartney, Anna Glide, Dave Moran is on there. Plenty of people. Ray Tatt. Ray's come back into the industry. Alex Ashwood, hello to you. Whoever is ringing me and they've got a private number, I won't answer it because I don't know who you are. So you either need to send me a text message and I'll answer it, or I don't know who you are. Kayleen Tyndall, Adam Stevenson, Tim Downley, please give me your answers. Mark O'Hare, hello to you, Mark. Jackie Lord, good on you, Jackie. Good Tasmanian bloke. We've got plenty of Tasmanians on, that's for sure. Williams Pacing is also watching, going there. And it is, of course, on Loose Lines that everyone is watching every Wednesday night. Not normally like this. Normally we try and have a little bit of fun. Next week, as I said, Mark Hughes from Woodlands is coming on with some stay-in announcements as well with the pricing and talking all things Woodlands. So he's actually going to be up here in the studio, as he liked to call it. Good luck to him. Rightio, the turnover on these is well down on other races. Okay, so Juppy's saying that the turnover is not as good. When I was working with the Greyhounds, turnover was actually quite good. You need a card of all match races. Okay, so what he's saying then is what might work is to have a complete race card of 2-horse fields and people know what they're in for. Be a bit of fun, actually, that's for sure. Set times, no backing off. Maybe you can't go quicker. maybe then the horse goes to the front. If he's happy with that speed, go from there and get along. Got a couple of people getting involved. Anthony Portelli, you had a great one, and I don't know where that went to. There's a few messages I might have missed there before because Anth put one in, and I don't know if he took it down or not, but I do apologise for not reading it. Paul West, I remember as a kid in the late 90s seeing the ad on TV for the Knights of Glory, etc. Definitely need to go back to these days and promote and market. Comes at a cost, but don't disagree. Limit the number of horses per race from one trainer. It's not a good look. Barb, don't disagree, but at the same time, there's two sides to that. I don't think you can limit them. If someone's lucky enough to get 12 horses in the Inter-Dominion final, I agree it's probably not a great look, but, well, what a story it would be as well. Paul West, you have to entice the crowd. They won't just turn up. We need another pin-up horses like Poppy in the 80s, Smoking Up, Night Pistol, etc. Surely we can get standing starts back. The Trotters have cast the Trotters were cast a few years back, but after concerted efforts, they are now thriving. Put some money in the stands and the trainers and educate them to step. Also, why is the Pony Trot world's best? Pony Trot's the world's best secret. Should be like Auskick. So thank you very much, Juppy. Now I'm hoping that is all there is at the minute going through there. So that is the guys off there. Grano's finished at his physio, so he's come back on. Anthony Stevens, just got another one come through. Hi, Paul. I think people would like coming to the trots more if there wasn't such a big gap between the races. And this is what I worry about on Friday at Maryborough. I don't know how they can get anyone there. And like, for instance, having races on Sunday starting at 5:30 in the winter, no one goes, no one's going to go or to be interested. And the thing is, you can sit at home and watch them on TV. So don't disagree with that. Maybe we don't worry about getting a crowd going there. Anthony Portelli, can you have a syndicate race? You cannot have a syndicate racing for $4,500. We're not like the Gallops, they race for 50. Yep, don't disagree with that, Anthony. So we've got to address it. Have Country Front meeting on a Saturday night running in conjunction with a metropolitan meeting like they do in New South Wales, WA, and run those meetings for $10,000. It was interesting, Thomas, the other night, not this weekend, the weekend before, there was only 3 race trot meetings, and they were the 3 metropolitan tracks, Albion Park, Menangle and Melton. Going from there, Anthony Port, instead of racing 7 days a week, drop it down to 5 days with country prize money at $10,000 to boost the Colonial stands and to give them a chance. This is the one that he said the other day, so I do apologise, Ant. To boost the Colonial stands and give them a chance, do what the Americans do. They have a Sire Stakes race series for stallions and the service fee for under $5,000. That will help the stallions that aren't popular. I'll bet that if you had a Sire Stakes program like the Vicbred one with heats, semi-finals and a final, people will be buying a lot of the Colonial bred stallions. I've lost where I was up to. Colonial bred stallions at the yearling sale. So, yeah, don't disagree with that. As I said, please get involved. Taylor French is there as well. Kieran Isles is watching. I'm going to say one thing too. It's not all about fun and games. I've got James has got in there. We've got Taylor French and Alex Ashwood. Don't forget the Barristock Dash. Great supporters of Campbell's comments, and we're having a little bit of fun. Go onto my social media page and you'll be able to see it. So what I've done is actually mile rated these to the Bendigo 2150 metre race. Taylor French is actually still your leader. We had to refine the times a little bit because I got into trouble because Alex was going to fall out the back of the cart and go from there. But 159.7 is the Taylor French equivalent mile rate for the fastest harness upper. Australia's best is in all sorts of trouble, Chrissy Elford, but that's okay. Rightio, Juddy has come back on here. State of Origin. See, different idea. State of Origin for the winners of all the 2 and 3 year old Group 1s in each state. Huge dollars. Decide who's the best of the best. Breeders' bonus should be applicable. Promote. Love it. So just put on one extra race is what Juddy's saying at the end of the year and go from there. Did my speed incentive racing get a look in? Yes, I did. Incentivised look in. Yeah, I like it, Grant. I think it's one of those things to get people thinking outside the square. The faster you go, the more money you win. Imagine that at a meeting. Imagine that at Bendigo on a nice warm night start as everything's starting to warm up and get out there. That'd be absolutely terrific. Big problem, James, big problem with Trot's Vision is Sky and the tab won't allow real-time racing. That's exactly right, on delay. So in-play punters won't get involved, and the best part is the pre- and post-race interviews, listening to participants and their opinions in racing. So I don't disagree with that. That is a big problem. It's a minute delayed by the time you get it, and people say it's only 40 seconds. It's not, because it's further when you're away from metropolitan areas, trust me. Many comments on the right track with ownership. Therefore, we need to create a place where it's much easier to get involved, like Inglis. I want to sell my 5% share, make it simple for me. Yep, don't disagree with that either. That might be something, yep, we can talk with other people. Might cause I'll wear a nutrient hat and go from there. Okay, what is the industry's social media strategy? Is there one? I'm tipping that's meant to be. Country Victoria has nailed it. No, I totally agree, Juppy. I think they definitely need to look at that. Gary Newton, work with sports clubs, get them to bring their members to the races. Got to give them a reason to come though, Gary, but don't disagree. Do things like stable tours on the night, up back in the horse stall area. Yep, and that's a big problem with the guys at Bendigo, because unfortunately, in Bendigo, we don't have a shed, and we need to have a shed as well. Now, I did put this post out onto social media as well, and please keep the comments coming through. Mark Commodore, Josh Holberton, hello to you. Matthew Loftus, Janet Argus, please get involved. Seriously, someone keeps ringing me, and I will not answer it because I don't know who it is. So if you know me, go from send me a text message. If you don't know me, I'm not answering it, that's for sure. Shouldn't read Twitter when you're try to do this. I've got to remember how to. Oh, that's how I do it. Can get to bringing all of these up and get them through there. I'm going to actually go to this one here. I'll start with that one. There was a couple that I will leave out for obvious reasons. Shorter gap between races. This is Nathan Jack up the very top. I'll pull it down a touch so people can actually see it. Shorter gaps between races. Meetings go way too long. Finish earlier. 11 o'clock finishes is just dangerous and showing the participants no respect. And I do agree with that a little bit. Again, Maryborough on Sunday, 10 past 11 on a Friday, a working day, school holidays. There's so many things that could be there. Anyway, why they have to be there so early. So participants, anyone's not sure, participants have to be there at 10 past 10 to get there, which means that the club has to be there before that, because that's if everyone arrives at the last minute. So anywhere from 9 o'clock, 8:30 to 9 o'clock, participants will be starting to get there, and club officials, and go from there. Plus the 11 o'clock finishes, the same thing. I know Eric Hendricks, sometimes with stewards' inquiries, can be there till well after 1 o'clock in the middle of winter. It's not fair. Dangerous and showing participants no respect. Saturday nights go to Geelong, Shepparton, Bendigo, Ballarat, Cranbourne, and finals in the city, wherever that is, the last Saturday of every month. $20,000 heats in the $30,000 finals. Like it. Nathan's thinking outside the square. He's a participant and he's thinking outside the square. Can it be done? You'd have to sit down and get more people involved in it than me. Doesn't help having proliferation of maiden races and lowly rated trotting races. So this is back to probably a programming thing. Punters need to build an affiliation with horses and be able to watch them go through. Instead, they're going around in these less claims ones. The biggest issue I own the ground, both with punters and participants, is multiple runners. Can't change that. Trevor Ralph, a race meeting Saturday Arvo with full coverage. Get in where most of the money is. We've got no chance, Trev. That is sacrosanct. They won't give it to us. There's thoroughbred meetings lined up 10 deep to try and get in there. So unfortunately that won't happen, but I love the idea. Nellie Melba, how are people managing their new horse location requirements? Harness website seems a bit clunky. Not sure if that's for this platform or not, but that's okay. Clean up the game regarding participants who are consistently breaking the rules. Yep, that's fine. As I want to have his go. Sinbad, where's John Wren when you need him? I don't know that. Sinbad Bay, of course, what a champion horse he was. Tom, move out of Melton. It's too far out. Build a big track at the showgrounds or somewhere in the suburbs. Make Menangle's track size. Stop having the same horses running every week. It is boring and they never win unless it's their turn. Having a little bit of everything there, Tom is. And Terry Thomas, race at 9 tracks only. Every night meeting starts at the same time. Run at the same tracks every week. Only have 8 race programs. Get rid of 2-year-old racing. I was thinking, what's this? But it's actually get rid of 2-year-old racing and have 3, 4, and 5-year-old Sires and Breeders' Crown. I think what he's saying is have those races so that people can get through there. Put all you can into the first win 2-year-old bonus. So I don't think Terry is worried about that. 10 Metro winners for Laura Lafferty. So congratulations to Laura. So that is the guys of Twitter. And going from there, Steve Salter, apologies for the Twitter rant this Arvo. Owner promotion, this is Steve Salter. Social media, radio promos, Trots Vision, etc. We have platforms. Clubs will absolutely support it, especially on the bigger nights. I've tried syndication for 3 previously. It was bloody hard to get it off the ground, especially if you had more than 10 owners. Need to be authorised, and syndicator unfortunately meant I stopped. So he's tried. We need to work out how we can go from there. So go from there. Mark O'Hare. So Mark O'Hare is one of our owners. He has a small share in a horse, and I know he enjoys it. Basic promotion to start. Syndication giveaways. A small share each week main meeting. One small share each week main meeting. Slowly bring people in. Bring back family nights, kids activities. Get harness on KO with pre-show and next day summary with the last 400 metres of each race. If you can't see it, it's not there. So that's exactly right. More helmet cam viewing. Just so you're aware, Jeffrey, we can't do that because the TAB own the rights to everything that happens on a race. So there will be no TABs on races. Reason I could do them in New Zealand is because the New Zealand TAB is owned differently, so they have to be able to do that. Return Breeders' Crown back to Bendigo, its spiritual hometown. Heath Posgate, I'm a proud Bendigo boy, and I have zero issue with that. The problem I do have with that is that I think the bird's flown for the Breeders' Crown, to be honest. And do we continue to put money into that and get money out there, please? Sam Stewart is on there. Justin Lane, Rod Pratt, Dylan Locke, Trent Metcalf, Ted Caruana, Emma Prosser. Hello to you, Emma. And go from there. I've had emails as well from other participants going through things like, and it was interesting from one person, some of the things that I found fascinating. Theme nights as far as even the restaurants. So have an Italian night. Portuguese night, make it different nights. You could have German, you could do different things and have that food there, promote it as a night, name the main race after that, and go from there. There was a few other ideas had. One thing that stuck out though, and has been pointed out to me, once a meeting is over, the next meeting should be promoted, and it is one of those things that we need to get right, and I don't disagree with it. And I see it at a lot of places that unfortunately the next day, the next meeting has to be publicised, because if a person goes past and they see it, the next meeting when it's on, well, yeah, that's it can actually be a bit of an issue in itself as well, and go from there. Kylie Bellows, another person that's left our industry, still watches from a distance, but hello to you, Kyles. And of course, Kyles runs Horseland Bendigo, so make sure if all your horse needs, get in touch with Kyles at Horseland Bendigo. She also supports my daughter immensely, so love you, Kyles, and we'll always make sure people get there. Bendigo Harness, here we go, the boys at Bendigo. I'm presuming it's Eric, but it could be Tim. Eric Hendricks. 3-day carnival keeps people in the town, and we'll get local councils, tourism support. Bendigo, the home of the Breeders' Crown, and he's giving me a wink. Rightio. Smart man from Bendigo gave me this idea, so here's one that I will get out off my chest. I don't know how many slot races we can have, but why do they all have to be $100,000, $500,000, $1 million races? Why doesn't Bendigo go to 10 Bendigo businesses? And all those 10 Bendigo businesses say we'll give you a $5,000 sponsorship package for the year. And of that, we're going to have the Bendigo race, and we're going to look after you for that whole year. So all of a sudden, we've got a $50,000 race. The kicker is the horses we train from Bendigo. The drivers come from Bendigo. People will pick flaws in it. There's no worries there at all. But it is a Bendigo-owned race. Those clubs, those businesses, Fitzpatrick's Hardware, Bendigo Horseland, go to those places and say, for $5,000 sponsorship, we're going to put on a race. It'll be a $50,000 Bendigo-only race, trained by Bendigo, with Bendigo drivers. The build-up will be enormous. Go to the papers. Kieran Isles was watching there before. Get people to those venues. Get Jack Law to go to Fitzpatrick's Hardware. Spend a day there. What are you doing here? Well, we've got a horse racing. It's going to be racing in 2 weeks' time. Let's go. Let's do it. It's a slot race. We're not going to be going to HRV and asking for money. We're not going to be going to the government and asking for money. We're going to put a race on that'll be there. Make it part of this 3-day carnival, Eric, that you want to get people to, and go from there. That's a good one, Tommy. I like this one. Think outside the square. That's not an expense on the industry, and get the messaging out there and get it out there. YouTube, the other one. Going from there, might have missed one or two there by the looks. YouTube, we don't use it. Harness Racing Victoria do not use it. It is the greatest platform ever. It is worldwide. Facebook, you guys are all watching me on Facebook at the minute. There's over 103 people currently live watching at the minute, and all the rest. YouTube is the hardest platform to build, but it is the most rewarding. You can get access anywhere, and people can then embed that. So Fitzpatrick's Hardware, they do an interview with Jack Law. We put it on the YouTube page, Harness Racing YouTube page, share it on the Fitzpatrick's Hardware social media. Then all of a sudden we can build this another platform where people can sponsor and get involved in as well, and go from there. So I don't mind that. Right, Juppy's back here. I've got to try and get him there. So that was his last one. Take back control of the clock. Get bumped to Sky 2 anyway, so at least do what you want. And I don't mind that. I think we've got an opportunity. We should potentially got our own channel, turn around and own Sky 2. I'm happy with that. Anthony Jupp, also as someone who's a casual fan. Juppy's more than a casual fan because he's written 20 comments in here. He loves the industry. He loves all racing industry. He's like me. He's a diehard, and we want to make it get going. So don't turn around and sell yourself short, Juppy. Who is a casual fan? I have no idea when the main meeting is on each week, what time it starts. When it was at Moonee Valley, it started at 7 o'clock every Saturday night. Now, I can't actually see NFI, and I've got a rough idea what that means, so we'll just leave that at that. I do agree with that. I think there's a lot of talk about racing, well, rumours are clubs will close down. I'll wait to see that, if that does happen or not. That's all speculation and unfounded at the minute, but potentially prioritising clubs and tracks to have the best turnover tracks racing more often, and I think that's something that should happen going there from there. Beck Brewer, market more experiences. People can have a track example, can have on-track example with 30-minute gaps for some of the drivers. Yep, spend time with the crowd, school excursions to the races, ride in the mobile, dual sulky rides, restaurant drink specials. That's from Beck Brewer, and I don't disagree with that. And then Thomas Parnell, bring back the Maltese drivers races to run it on the Maltese race night, and Maltese driver eligible drivers. I know a few of them. Tommy, of course, works for Reader. He knows more than a few of them. But let's go one step further, Tommy. Let's make it an all-Italian night. Let's get the Maltese to turn around and say what we need on that night. Let's make it an Italian night. Let's have some fun. Let's have some character. Let's get those drivers in their colours. Imagine Aussie walking through the crowd, talking to people. He'd be infectious. He'd get someone going all the time. So let's try it. Let's take the crowd to the people and get people out there. Prize money is the biggest problem. If you don't have decent prize money, okay, don't have an issue with that, Anthony, but I can't fix that one. I'm trying to get ideas and get people to think of the industry differently. We need to increase interest in betting on our product. In-play betting is a huge opportunity for our product, and to give punters something different, I reckon it is meant to be, to the greyhounds and the gallops. Is exactly what I keep saying, Danny. We have the opportunity. We can put multiple cameras in carts. It can be done. I could do it tomorrow. We can put carts in there. So you can't watch it live if you're at home because there's a delay. There is always an infinite delay. Sky Channel will be 1 to 2 seconds behind minimum. You cannot do it any other way. I can tell you now, if you're watching on YouTube at the minute, you are a minute and a half behind what I am saying. Hence the reason why I'll say something and the words don't get there till later on at night. Italian night, Friday night, Paul, at Mildura. Is that right, Reese? So this Friday night is Italian night at Mildura. What a great little effort that was. We didn't know that one. There's always a delay. But if you're on track, that delay could be less than a second. So you make people, you want to know how to get people to the track? Imagine having cameras on 4 or 5 drivers in a race. And the only place you can see it is at Bendigo. And you put the TVs up, turn the TVs on and have the people sitting there. Something to do, something different. Can't do it at the Greyhounds. They did actually do it. I've seen footage of it. They put them on the Greyhounds. It's quite cool, but a bit hard to do all of the time. The small clubs are the only ones that get crowds. Birchip and Bort do huge amounts of engagement rather than just turnover. Less tracks equals a very plain product with no point of difference. And that's exactly right. And that's what I keep saying. People are constantly saying that we are going to be closing all these clubs, and there is a major issue with that, and I don't think anyone knows that. Country versus City Drivers Series, Jeff Dixon. Problem would be, how do you boundary the city? Would that be Melton only? And how far do you go? Or do you go the top 10? No, you can't do that either. Like the idea, Jeff. Just needs a little bit of refining. Because in the Melton area at the minute, there's still probably quite a few. But yeah, if that's where you go with it, I don't know. Leanne Terry Brown. Hopefully this is Terry Brown from South Australia. If it is, hello to you, Tezza. Study into what works as a starting point. Problems are discussed in-house, not in public. Yep. Don't have an issue with that. Unfortunately, I just lost that. And I've got Gary Newt watching and Gary Newton watching as well. Please, there's got to be more comments out there if you want to go with them. Some of the studs, now some of the people come up with ideas. So Harasta Trotters, they came up with this one last year. So this is the 2-year-old trotting race series. So they will have a race series at Menangle. $75,000 for the trotting colts, $75,000 for the fillies, and only eligible to horses who breed to their stallions. So it incentivises people to want to go and want to race in their race. But they're actually promoting their product, and they will get the point out there promoting that a lot more when the race comes around. $75,000 for the trotters, and they're putting their money behind it. They're getting the message out there. They do a lot of promotions and going out there. The Heidi George, putting money back as well. Lower Long Farms, they've got a mares race. So I think I saw, it's an up to 54 rated race. Heats are on July 8 at Echuca, the 26th of July at Swan Hill, and then the final is on my birthday. All birthday presents can go there. The 2nd of August at Bendigo. More than happy to receive all presents. That'll be fine. But no, in all seriousness though, great little race series and putting their money back. These are ideas to get people back. The Heidi George is after their daughter. Don't worry, there's lots planned there as well going forward. I believe, one of the things I believe, we need to embrace social media as well and get it out there, because I can guarantee you now, I think his name, I try with his name is Babas Hejab Hinbajaka. And I know that is not right, but Babas, I reckon he has accidentally stumbled across a show talking about harness racing. So going from there, there's a bloody love heart right down the bottom. So every time Juppy sends me something, could we have something like a line in the swimming pool to say track or class record? Yep. Every time when they're on. Yeah. I don't think it'd be that easy, Juppy, but I reckon you definitely could. That'd be fine. Right, Nick Beale's come off the long run. A few discussion points I'm interested in. There's something to be said about creating content for people to see. Racing.com, Twitter and Facebook posts the concluding stages of every race and posts every race interview for people just to scroll through. People will see it more often. That's just a simple creation content with socials. It's impossible to follow someone you can't see. A change to how slow the first half of the last mile may make race finishes more interesting. Just trying to find where the experiment of 1200 metre races apparently for Sky coverage of harness racing. Take more percentage of screen time with less turnover percentage. So do we consider a North American uniform 1 mile races only? Race clubs speaking maybe to their loyal area trainers or trainers that frequent the meeting about the programming. Yep, so try a few different ones. Not sure about the all-mile racing. I think they've tried it, but then again, in saying that, potentially we could do some people there. The people who are paid to run the show that don't know what to do or in fact know anything is wrong must go. So Dave Voslick, I'm not sure about that one. Sorry, I've got messages going everywhere. Someone else has sent me one and I can't see it. So anyway, that's okay. And I've had people ringing me. As I said, if you're that private number ringing me, I won't answer any phone calls while I'm on the air unless I know who it is. So Ray Tat is a great one. He has actually left the industry. His daughter is getting back in the industry, and so is he through being a clerk of the course. And I will catch up with Ray very, very shortly. Before anything change needs to start from the person in the mirror. The way some dress at the races is showing we don't care, and the first thing I noticed that slipped dramatically from my time away. We can do it for bigger meetings, so can be done and showing pride and respect for our industry. Thank you very much, Ray. Love it, and I don't disagree with that. We are here. We all want to race for more money, but we don't want to put on a show and don't want to look that way. So there's a person, as I said, very passionate person who has left the industry and is coming back to the races to be able to watch that. Peter Dornoff is watching. There's quite a few Tasmanians actually racing. Bendigo Harness. I missed that one from the Bendigo Harness. Eric's he's going full noise. He must be cooking. You might have to send me a photo of what you're cooking, Ek. But I think what he has said there, it hasn't come up on my line. That's why I haven't got it. Might just keep a little eye on that with the line, like as in the cycling, I would say, is what he's talking about there to keep that cycling. Susan Hunter, hello to you. Christy Butler, hello to you. Nick Beale, I've read that one. Arrowhead Harness Racing League is coming, is watching as well. Kieran Niles, can we get on... Can we get an all-female race on feature nights during the Team Teal period? Lead the way, Bendigo. Apologies to the male drivers. I think that could be done. And we then have to market it. The Bendigo advertiser, Eric, I think will be able to facilitate with that by the sounds of it. Kieran will get the message out there and go from there. Vinnie Knight's plaque at Moonee Valley is Is HRV going to relocate to Melton because the valley is going to be redeveloped? Don't know the answer to that one, Anth. I'm sorry. Can't answer that. Nigel Armstrong, all the way over from New Zealand, and a man who definitely thinks differently, and he won't mind me saying that. He'll have absolutely no problem there. There is plenty of good content being produced here in New Zealand, but unfortunately not a central hub to go and see it. Unfortunately, our governing body sees it as a threat. When people start typing in, sorry, Nige, see it as a threat and promotes very little outside of themselves. Yep, okay, I understand Nigel's frustration there. Maybe it is where we can put a website for harness racing content. Or a social media page. There is the Facebook pages that do that. So, yeah. Do we think the NR system works? Tom Davies, I've spoken about that. There's clearly a wave of people that don't like it. The NR system is not a HRV issue. It's not a Harness Racing New South Wales problem. It is a problem for the Harness Racing Australian industry. So, yep, I think they definitely need to look at it overall. There's quite a few kinks in the armour, and it's been the most spoken about thing here, but I don't know if that'll help get people there. Kristen Wheelhouse promotes Saturday night offers like spend $20 at the bar and get $20 free credit for food. Beverages drop offer pamphlets at universities, colleges, advertise via online platforms to attract young upcoming professionals to the sport. If they come to the track live, they may like what they see and come more regularly. The free offer also gives them more money to have a bet on, which in turn increases betting turnover. Also, get rid of the stay-in limits. As a breeder, if I cannot get to the stay-in that I want to, I will not breed, meaning less foals on the ground. Yep, I have no issue with that. Sorry, Chris Lang, coming back here. Bring back the Monties. They bring new people into harness racing, and there are plenty of potential for cross-code engagements. Absolutely, and I do have an idea on those, Chris, and I think we could do that. 100% more prize money and incentives for breeders will incentivise all ownership base and bring more owners to it. That's off the back of the Anthony Portelli one. That was Craig Judd. The Gallops in Sydney on Saturday. This is Reece Moore. Have a midway or a highway race for country horses. Not sure how HRV can program. There's so many astute country trainers, maybe 6 races a year for 20k for trainers who haven't trained a Metro winner in the last 12 months. Yep. That'll help the small-time trainers. Does it get more people to the industry, Reece? It may, because those owners might contribute to go along. Saturday afternoon regional racing seemed to work during COVID. Thanks, Greeno. Won't get on Sky One, I can promise you. Having a bigger percentage of board members with horses racing knowledge. At least 33% of the board members should be horse people with horse experience. Yep, I think in New Zealand it's 99%. I think other than the chair, all of those guys are there. A few races a week for trainers with less than 20 wins. Yep, again, another great idea to keep the trainers in the game, but we need to attract new people as well. Can't lose country tracks. They are important to the country towns, fundraisers, local communities, but also Team Teal, Pacing Ponies, local hobble trainers and drivers. And that's exactly right. And I don't think anyone's silly enough to think that they are going to do that, James, in any way. I think the reality is that we need to have probably more races at the better turnover tracks for the punters, and I'm sure Juppie will agree with that. But the flip side of that is, and you can see there, Juppie also mentions there that Bort and Birchip do a huge amount for engaging with people rather than just about the turnover. They get a lot of people involved in it and get people going that way as well. So Robert Woods, hello to you. Brad Hilda. Another gentleman from India there, or somewhere that I cannot pronounce because I do not have a clue. Jim Hurley and Bradley Barnes. Hello to you, Brady. And going from there, some of the other things I did want to highlight is Alex Ashwood's achievements last week at Mildura. He got 5 winners. Didn't see a lot put up about that anywhere going through. Good to see Benny Hope. Got a few Kiwis on board. It's good to see Benny Hope crack it for a winner at Ballarat just recently. Promotions and club promotions and what people do differently and going from there, was saddened to see that unfortunately Charlton Harness Racing Club won't be racing on the 4th of July because it's a night meeting. It's a Tuesday night meeting. Now the club has worked tirelessly the last 3 years to try and incorporate the 4th of July feel and get that message out there. The Charlton Knights actually liked the post that I put up, but I haven't seen, I don't know if any of those guys are on, but to embrace the American and try and get that message back there. It's lost this year. Let's try and get it back from next year, though, and make people aware that it's an All-American Day. Go to Charlton for the 4th of July and have some fun, have some beautiful hot dogs, and get some involvement with some of the Americans and build it up that way. It was a great promotion, but they are racing this Sunday? I don't know what date it is anymore. Yeah, it'll be this Sunday, the 3rd of July, unfortunately. If anyone from Charlton is on watching, if you are still doing the American theme, let us know. Nigel Armstrong, we have a lot of very smart owners involved in harness racing. Have they ever been approached? Step 1 suggestions box on every course. Nigel, what a simple idea. Because a lot of people don't want to they don't want to become on here. They don't want to put their name to it. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to talk to people. But they might see something at a track. Wow, suggestion posts. There's an idea, Nige. I think someone will get that one implemented. Hopefully, Eck is still watching. A few of the owners of Rocking with Attitude started with Racer Pacer. Can we look at doing another program like that? Absolutely. And it is one of the great stories. They still breed horses. And the friendships, I'm sure Michelle will turn around and say that the friendships that they have got through that whole ordeal is terrific. There's a lot of banter. The people enjoy each other's company. Well done. Don't disagree. That's what we're going to look at, the big picture. We need to get more owners. We need people out there to think about how they can do it. Maybe we have to talk to HRV about the potential, I suppose, I don't know the right word, but how we can make it financially easier for someone to be able to run that, because I think that it's a stake distribution, the allocations of stakes and those sorts of things back to people that actually can make it a little bit trickier. Maybe if there's some people that are interested in it, get in touch with HRV and talk to them. Take it off HRV's hands. We don't need it at HRV hands. We need people that want to drive it, want to get out there to the trainers and get involved. Nigel Armstrong goes to the Duns every week. They have about 3 or 4 syndicates. He does it on his phone, so people can actually go there and watch what he does, whether you're a syndicate member or not. But then you might want to be, and one day you might go there and get involved. Michael Morris, Declan Downs, and Danusa Gill. Hello to you, Danusa. Thomas Parnell, have trainers encouragement races for trainers that haven't train more than 10 winners in a season like they do in Tassie, and have a heat and final series $20,000 final. Whether you can get it for $20,000 or not, I don't mind that, Thomas, and go from there. But maybe it is the sort of thing. We have a lot of junior drivers races. Sure, maybe we should have junior trainers series. Maybe not got nothing to do with how many winners in a season that you've trained. How long you've been trained, how many winners you've actually trained in that period, and go from there. So definitely something else to go back. Anthony Jupp, could we have a circuit that runs every second Sunday through Central Victoria? Would build up a big and would build up to a big final Bendigo Cup night. Build points in competition lead ups. The weather is good. Don't mind it. Could be called the Central Victorian Championships. That's a cheeky one because we used to actually have that, but it's potentially have it a bit like the Country Cups. Juppy, you're a smart man, thoroughbred man. How do the gallops work it? When they have heats of the Country Cups Championships, you don't necessarily have to win to be obligated to go into it. I'd love to know how it works, how you can pull out. I think you can pull out scot-free. I don't know. Maybe they send those horses a paddock. I don't know. But sometimes they leave those as lead-up races to other races and the likes. They'll win those, but they won't go in them. So that'd be actually very, very interesting to do. Brett Chapman, bring back the stands. It's the only way to handicap horses. Brett Chapman, don't disagree. Not sure if it'll happen or not, but definitely don't disagree. And it will also bring back that feeling. I highlighted a race a few weeks ago about the Country Clubs Championships. A country championship, in Addington, in New Zealand, won by a $75 pop, who missed away, and missed very, very easily. But that race and the buzz that race gave was just simply unbelievable. Have a few non-metro win races in the last 12. Have a few non-metro win races in the last 12 months at Melton. They do those already, Jeff. Yep, they definitely do those. Anthony Port, harness racing should employ Brian Hancock, legend of the sport. I'm sure he's got some good ideas. And Chris Butt. Sometimes though, and I'm definitely not knocking Brian Hancock. The ideas are simple, but sometimes there is other reasons for the ideas. And so sometimes it's not that simple just to do that. I'm serious. There's a person who continually rings me on a blocked phone number. If you send me a text, I will answer it if I know who you are. I'm not answering a phone that I don't know. The standing start brings the smaller tracks back in, spreads the fields out. That's Anthony Jupp off the YouTube feed. Please don't forget, if you're on YouTube, to go from there. Right. Nigel Armstrong just got permission from Harness Racing New Zealand board to start a new syndicate, much like the Witches syndicate. 300 members, but this one unhinged racing, 500 members, racing very small percentages of a horse, going to start with 10% of 3. So he's going to have 500 people that are going to own 10% of 3 horses racing. Good on you. I reckon that's awesome. The outlay would be nothing. The people will enjoy it. They must have had a good night the other night too, Nige, at Addington with the ladies' night. I did see that. Grass racing circuit with a final at Moonee Valley on Manikato night or Cox Plate night. Steve Gallia, love it. The racing guys won't, but I definitely do love that. I think that's an awesome idea going forward. So, yep. No, I'm sorry, but whoever that silent number is, I might answer it in a minute just to see. We might have to hang up on them anyway. But, yeah, I refuse to answer it. I won't, because a lot of people are very emotionally driven, if you like, about tonight and ways of doing it differently. As I said, I've just opened this up. Another Dornoff is on there. Graham Daffy. Hello to you, Graham. And Anthony Port says it's a great idea. As well, he likes the grass track racing. I love it. Just the last part might be an issue, but I definitely like the idea. Mark O'Hare, bring in footy and netball clubs, have race nights where clubs have horses in the main race, and they are invited. They have a share in the winnings, a trophy, and get the sports clubs to rotate leagues. Absolutely. Perhaps clubs need to hold events on race meeting nights. Example, football, netball. How's that? Mark O'Hare and Clint McSwain thinking alike. Best and fairest counts, new people, access to the industry. Yeah, and that's a cool idea, actually. I must say the best and fairest and the likes definitely getting people thinking a little bit differently, which is what we want. And that was the whole idea of tonight. It's not to sit there and pick on people or tell people what they are or aren't doing and how they can and can't do it. Bring up the rating system till the cows come home. I have absolutely no worries with that. Personally, from my experience with the rating system and having a horse like Belittled, it works enormous. But I do know that there are plenty of other people that don't enjoy it. Joel Rooney's got in on that other post, said go back to Moonee Valley. That won't be happening either as well. So I do appreciate that, just making sure that we've got most of these out and done. But as I said, there's plenty happening, plenty of ideas. I want to make people just continue to think and just try and change it. We need to take, I suppose, control. What Ray Tat said, look in the mirror before you go to the races. And when I say that, it doesn't mean you have to look tidy. We should always look tidy. But it's not about being in designer clothing or anything along those lines. But just say to yourself as you're leaving, would I like to get an owner here? And if you say to yourself no, well, then you've got to start changing. You might not be able to change it on the day, but maybe you can have an internal look and just see how we can do things and do things differently and get people involved that way. So I've got a... I don't know where that is, but anyway, Kyle Marshall from New Zealand, hello you. Biggest day at Bendigo Thoroughbreds is beach party day, food for thought for Bendigo Harness. Yep, put the beach down next to the track. Wouldn't be hard to do. Now Bendigo's got the grass. We could have picnics on the grass. I'm sure Eric's got a few of those ideas. Sian Frith, I'll go with, is watching. Hello to you, Sian, as well. Heaps of people have been watching. I must say thank you very much. A little bit of debate as to how long I was going to be going tonight for the show. I'm glad that people have conducted themselves in the manner that which I would have expected. I think we definitely need to think outside the square. There's been some really, really good ones there. Change up what we're doing, because what we're doing doesn't work, and I suppose that's the biggest thing. Anthony Jupp. Nigel's just give me one other one in there at the minute, but Anthony Jupp, I'd love to know. We get called cheats on seats. Juppy deals with a lot of people in the industry. That person won't give up. In the industry, what's the worst that could happen? We'll soon see. They hung up. Seriously, I just answered it and they hung up. Michael House. It's not Housey that's doing it. We've missed plenty, Housey. Plenty of comments for you to go through. Left of field idea, Michael House, on how we can change the industry and promote it in a different way. I'll give you a minute to get back into there. For our industry to survive, we need passionate people to run it, not just there to collect their pay every week. How about cloning yourself? Is that to you, Nigel, or to me? I don't think there wants to be a clone of me, that's for sure. No one would want that. Marie will quite happily ring you. Aside from the difficulties and challenges that our sport has, I'm still keen to listen, chat, and about breeding and pedigrees in the upcoming season. We definitely need more and more people to go from there. Be good to hear what ideas HRV have. Absolutely. I've got no issues with that, and I'm sure some will come out very, very shortly. Our product is boring and predictable. Deborah Moss, a lady who has been involved in the industry for a long time. It offers no value for money for the smaller punter. We have lost, I was thinking we might be nearly at the end. We have lost those punters to the greyhounds. For example, Victoria once had a terrific Country Cup circuit series that was supported by a large number of industry participants. And offered many opportunities to achieve a career highlight by winning a Country Cup. Then came the push to abolish standing start races in Victoria, with many of those supporting such change claiming all other states were going the same way to abolish the stands. How wrong they were. The country clubs and many of our once great standing start feature races have become nothing more than a glorified free-for-all dominated by the big stables, producing many odds-on favourites and once again giving the small punters no value for money. It's been great to see it has been great the big stables, but it's been heartbreaking for many of the participants who have looked forward to. Heartbreaking for many of the participants who once looked forward to competing and perhaps winning one of those races, the Standing Start Cups. It's also seen some of the great featured races like the Hunter Cup also lose individuality and punters' attention. Dale Brown said, when they took over, we need to return to things that once worked in harness racing. Sadly, Mr. Brown was never able to achieve any of that and now has sadly moved on from harness racing. We need to find a way to give punters what they want, value for money, and a way to keep industry participants in the game and racing. All types of races. The NR system has failed to do any of that, primarily in Victoria, due to poor programming along with the continued tinkering of the system that has done nothing to fix the problems but only make things worse. Officials are adamant the NR system Officials have admitted that the NR system has caused a large number of horses to fall back into under 50 rating. The answer is to punish the owners for the slowest assessed horses by giving them up to 10 penalty points for winning any race, often that have not won in a long time. A better solution would be to program races for horses that could win and move them through the rankings that way. Program races with tighter bands, any conditions to racings like barrier draws, NR, lifetime wins. So, for example, 50 class horses with no wins draws inside a 50 class 1, 2, 3. When splitting races and going from there. Better probing can be made work better and does. Queensland seem to have it going okay, but it still is a system that punishes young promising horses and rewards old horses who are rapidly approaching their use-by date. The industry has no long-term future if our handicapping system continues down this path. I've lost where I was up to then. Now, anyone that wants to... The industry heading down this path... I will add we need to sort the equality and prize money $4,500. Seriously, does nothing to help the industry participants. We are forced to race for it. It is, in fact, making many consider the future in the game. Deborah Wicks-Moss, she said a lot of things there that made a lot of sense to me. James, I'll get to you again in YouTube. Please go back and read all those, and you can comment on those as you go. Might be Babar's trying to ring you. Babos. Who the hell's Babos, Mark Lee? I've got no idea who Babos is, Mark Lee, but thank you very very much. Whoever it is can text me. There's no worries there. No to you. I can hear the passion in your voice. Oh, no, I didn't mean to read that one. But anyway, I love you, Nige. Lead on off. Whoop. Whoa. Like to try 100 metre staggered start 10 horses, similar to the way they conduct an 800 metre running race. Each horse would have its own lane outside their own coloured pylons. Right, now that'd be worth watching. I don't think I'd want to draw out wide, Lee, great man from Tasmania, and hopefully we'll see you again in February or maybe even before that. Very, very shortly, Lee. Love it. That'd be a lot of fun. Be a lot of fun indeed. Full Vicbred bonus, even for a $4,500 race. That will help the breeders as well. Perhaps have a phantom caller on each race night for one trainer, driver, or local sporting or business person. Have a prize if you can pick the voice. Something different to get people to go there. That was from Clinton. Jeffrey Dixon. What I don't see in any advertising from trainers for shares in horses for sale, lease. There could be people out there that would be interested. Lots of suggestions. Thank you very much, Claire. She's replying to Michael House. That'd be fun. I'll put Claire and Michael in touch with each other. That'd be a great conversation. No one thing fixes. Syndicates cheapen the experience. They don't recycle as bigger customers. Therefore, the evolution of people increasing their footprint decreases. Therefore, more and more people require too much racing cheapens the effort of winning, etc., etc. Money, money, money. There are betting increased exponentially quickly to increase stakes. Only way forward, impossible. So Michael House is saying that syndicates aren't necessarily the answer. He and I know he has done quite a few. So yeah, it's different. Was me trying to arrange a dental appointment for Magic? Yeah, I doubt that either. So yeah, once I answered it, it actually hung up. So there was no hassles there at all in that. Right, so the boys on Twitter have been quietly. Matthew Kelly, promote owners more than trainers and drivers. Interesting way of looking at it. I think we need to promote everyone. The punters will turn around and say we've got to look after the punters on the track. Everyone will say the whole thing. I think there's got to be a buy-in from everyone. Should have been 1,200 metres. Obviously, there's a reason for that, Lee Dornoff. It's a very difficult question to even come to grips with. And you spelled it difficult, Michael. Hopefully you're not having one of your late night parties or anything like that, but good to have you on. And I encourage everyone to get involved. That's what I said, this show is about bringing up answers. James, with trotters on the rise, have to bring back standing start distance racing. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a bugger thing. Race, plenty of trotters going around. They need 2,400 metre races plus to show their best. Maybe an all trotting meeting once a week, once a fortnight. Yeah, have no issues with that. I'd love a coffee right at the minute. Cynthia, now I reckon I know this lady, Cian Frith. I'm sure I do. What money? There isn't money. Australia's biggest Sonia has never declared a profit. That's out of my hands. Have absolutely no idea. As a syndicate owner of so many noses, I can't count. There are good and bad, but the social aspect is lots of fun. Michael House is on the coffee. Michael House, wrong. I have one who now sponsored the last two cup days. The last two cup days, and another who is breeding for horses in the industry. I think there's both sides to it. Granny Campbell, new appointment. I don't know if I've got it. Yeah, I reckon I have here, because Grant Campbell. Oh, no, I don't. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, there he is. New bloodstock agent at Lower Long Farm, so you can get in touch with Grant. There's his phone number on the bottom. Don't block your number, though. he won't answer that one at all. 0417 549 115 or Dr. Kath McIntosh, or send them all, either admin or Grant or Kath, nrequine.com.au. Cheeky bugger, but that's what this platform does. Indeed, Cameron Hart is watching. I'm sure Cam's got plenty of ideas out there as well on ways of fixing it, and I'm sure a lot of the drivers, a lot of the trainers and the drivers don't like the late nights and being away from family members for long periods of time, and it can be tricky. It was quite interesting. Benny Hope, when he came over, he couldn't believe we had Monday night trials as well. So it is very, very interesting that way. Clinton McSwain is back. Handicap Mobile. Many moons ago, they had a concept at Charlton. I think it was they had the outside of the track darker, heavily warded, and the handicap runners had to stay in that area until they reached the coloured marker, which coincided with their saddlecloths, calf colour. Markers were around the first corner. I watched it one day at the trials when I was much younger, and it was very interesting to watch. Obviously never gained momentum. That's interesting, that. So obviously they had to start at the top part of the track, and they weren't allowed to move down until they went past their markers. Love it. Shout out to Horsham, where you can order a Grant Campbell roll. Serious? He's got his own roll. Claire Weston, love you for random. Racing was and is the sport of kings, the king's ransom to afford. We all managed to cheapen it today, converting 1 in 100 to owning more than 1% means every 1,000 syndicate member you might find that one who owns the whole horse. So I think what Michael's not overly wrapped with syndicates, and I'm sure he's done quite a few over the time. So yeah, a roll with Grant Campbell, you wish. Maybe that's what Claire's on about. Thank you, Jared. I hadn't thought about it that way. Maybe, I don't know. Both of them have gone very quiet, Jared, in their silence. So I don't know. I don't know all of the answers. I don't want to know all of the answers. I want to promote the sport, and I want to get people thinking and go from there. Dim Sim rolls. Seriously? And they named that after you. Love syndicates, but they are actually the future. Oh, but are they the future? Sorry, missed a word. Joanne Anderson, hello to you. The NR system, not going to talk about that. Don't have an issue with it, but it is out of my hands. It's an issue for HRA. We need to consider the young age groups. Simply put, we won't have any older horses. These progressive horses should be racing for better dollars with the older horses. No one can explain to an owner why a 100-start veteran, and I understand that, Joanne, and I'm not here to, get in a fight with HRA over that. I have enough issues with those things. But as I said, I can't fix the NR system. The idea of tonight is to promote the industry and to try and get people to think left of field and come up with different answers. Jody Whitaker, hello to you, on how we can promote our industry and change it, because it is not looking real good here at the minute. Jody Whitaker is watching. What we did yesterday didn't work. What we do today might not be working. Yep, so we've got to look into the future. Stacey Lee, is it the NR system or is it the programming of it? That's another food for thought. Will Rickson, driving up a storm. Hello to you, Will. Crack at the the Tribes title. I think I saw the other day. You got 3 winners again the other day, so it doesn't tune in too often. Aaron Bain Racing, hello to you guys. You guys do syndicates, do lots of innovative things as well, and need to do more of those. Malcolm Sinclair, just look at the North Island, so obviously that's in retaliation, getting back. Jack Kelligan, all the boys from New South Wales are watching. There must be nothing on TV in New South Wales. I don't know. Hi, Grant. Long time knowing you. Hello to you, Claire. Whoa. Joel Fowler. I need to highlight this one. We live and die on a wagering turnover, which is impacted by the reliability of form and the sport's reputation as a whole. Working hard in harness racing, like any other sport or career, doesn't guarantee you a living, but the odd short-sighted, dumbass things it should. Punters over time lose confidence and honesty, and participants lose heart when they feel that they can't compete. Penalties strong enough to create deterrent for the wrongdoing. Growing interest from our tradition, country-based support small country clubs, bring back show racing. And 3, get rid of the drop back clause. They don't create more wins. They make one usually more accomplished horse more competitive at the expense of another. And that's been a common theme today. So the drop back rule, the NR system is definitely an issue. Does it get people back to the industry? I don't know. And that's exactly what I was trying to, I suppose, point out and go from there. Eric says, I could be wrong. This will be dangerous. I could be wrong, but put all the industry studs in a room and trash out the issues. Campbell's comments would like to have a camera in there too. That'd be a lot of fun. It's not just a stud issue, Eric. I think it's an industry issue. Maybe everyone in the industry should be there and put their points in, leave all their agendas at the side. The NR system and the rating system, of course, a lot of people are saying on there that it is the issue. And is it programming is the issue? As I said, Friday, I still don't understand. If you have a look at Friday's meeting, it starts at 12 minutes past 11. There is a $10,000 race on for 68 to 78 class horses with 6 horses in it. Now, those 6 horses are all Metropolitan horses. They could all race at Metro and Melton this Saturday night, just gone. Make sure I get the right remote. Or if they weren't ready to race there, which, I mean, they're racing on the Friday, but anyway, if they weren't ready to race there, they could have raced the week after. So that does come back to the programming a little bit, and as to why that was on there, and that is a rating system potentially, or is it? They're the things I would like some answers from people as to why we've got a $10,000 fast class race on at 12 minutes past 11. The other one is, why are we constantly putting these 1200 metre races on at 6 and 6:30? Good luck to anyone doing the form in the one that's coming up this week. It's on at 6 o'clock prime time for betting turnover, but there are other stories for other days. There's a 70 to 85, that's a trot race. There's an 80 to 94, so some of those horses would have been eligible for that, albeit it is a full field. There's a 70 to 79, which is a full field as well. So maybe that's why those horses went there. I don't know. There's a 65 to 79, that's a mare's race. So maybe there was no race for them. Maybe we could have waited. I don't know. Who is the sponsor? Who is the sponsor on the orange, white, black cap behind you, please? Would like a cap. That's the Creek. That's the guys at the Creek. Brad's watching, so don't you worry about that. The orange one, orange, white, black cap. It has to be that one. Yeah, so that's the Creek. Yep. Brad will get onto that one for you. I did have an orange one here somewhere, but not that colour, not that same one. But anyway, of course, Claire's come on to be random. New Zealand has an unrelated programming. New Zealand has unrelated programming to rating system problem. Oh, sorry. They need to be in the same room at the same time, work alongside the classes or band within the ratings and policy that is in line. And I think that is one of the issues that they do need to get there. More, not Morse. And our system is probably here to stay. I think ways around programming races. Get creative, make more clauses, etc. Okay, so Stace put a post up that didn't come up on that feed, but did come up on my phone feed. So she actually had a mistake. But yeah, want more clauses in it to make it harder. The other one. What other one? Oh, that one, Medowie Lodge. That one there. That's Medowie Lodge. That's Darren Ray. Okay, I'll see what I can do for you there. He's a great man, Darren Ray, unheralded person going forward. These people, where are we? The Creek one is cool too. Oh, Claire. But I answer every person's question. Exactly. These people eat, leave and breathe the our industry. Do the same for trainers, then the drivers and the owners, and break each down for an ultimate result. Yep, I think that's something that definitely needs to happen and possibly could happen. Owners first, without them, we have no business. Well, Claire, I disagree, because breeders, am I a breeder first or an owner first? So there is so many. The punters will tell you that they can't have it either. We need the experience. The drivers will tell you we can't have it without the drivers. The whole industry, there is no one first. The whole industry needs to be as an equal. And absolutely, Michael House is basically saying it still doesn't fix the problem if we can't get people to the trots. And that is one of those things. Michelle Arnett and Grant Campbell are doing a syndication as well. Rightio. A lot of people have had their say. Generally, when I start to say this, people come in from everywhere. This show has been very, very different this week. There's plenty going on in the industry. It is cold, it is wet, it is winter time. As I said, Mark Hughes will be up here in the palatial surrounds of the Campbell's Comments studio next week to go from there. I do think the TV experience could be sensational, and I think, not sure if he's talking about me putting cameras on drivers and going live with it and go from there. Not sure. Woodland's very own Cameron Grant. Last time I had Michael House and Cameron Grant on at the same time, I got lost. Just imagine the game without self-interest. Plenty of great minds in the game. Just need to work as a team. But can it happen? And then he's, of course, attached that to Michael House. So, yeah, Cam Grant. And I don't disagree with that. Sometimes they just need to check what they're thinking there. How many trots people actually go to the trots if they don't have runners? I'll tell you what's worse, Stace. If people listen or watch trots if they don't have a horse going around. That's how bad it has got, because it is Groundhog Day here in Australia. Same old, same old. Michael House, just imagine you back a horse and then tune in the cameras focused on him. That's exactly right. So go to the races. That's my idea. Put 10 cameras against the wall. Have numbers 1 to 10. Have the cameras going live to get the people to go there and get involved. Stand there, watch the races. You can watch it. I'll tell you what you can do then. You can go back and watch, and instead of saying, oh, the stupid driver didn't pull out, you can see he's trying to pull out, but the horse won't go. There's so many other ways to go from there. Cameron Grant and Michael House are already in it. Jodie Whittaker, we have gone away from the hobbyists and tried to move to professional only. This hasn't been successful and dropped participants numbers dramatically. We need to get back to the hobbyists, the grassroots, and bolster numbers for increasing meeting availability. Problem with that, Jody, is simple. Not sure what that one there is. The biggest problem we have with that comment that you have said there is everyone wants to race for professional money. So that is one of the issues that we can have going forward. I did hear an idea the other day to see if we can get our own channel like racing.com. They said, why not Sky 2 dedicate to harness only? They won't dedicate Sky 2 to harness only, but potentially we could have. I think that bird's flown as well. We could have gone further there. Racing.com, don't worry. Smoke and mirrors. Don't, just because you see it's all big and fluffy, it is not flying. There's a lot of stories get said behind there. Every time I sort of say, let's make going to the races an experience, off-track entertainment, dual sulky rides, ambassadors, and actually advertise outside of the industry and attract people, prizes, whatever it takes to get people back to the track. Small clubs do that. That's one of the things that Juffy said there before as well, Joanne. Don't disagree at all. Plenty of people liking these comments too, and I really do appreciate that. Fantastic coverage. Cup Day should be the same every day. Not sure. Or maybe have the same coverage, but it does get expensive. Racing TV, interactive, just like simulate car racing. Exactly. Have one camera facing back at the driver. Don't have them all pointing forward where the horse is going. It'd be cool. Seriously, get rid of self-interest and we could go a long way. That is Cam Grant. Who was that? Cam Grant it was. Yep. I wouldn't agree on the hobbyist comment. We have plenty or wouldn't have customers. So, and because she is a photographer, of course, Claire Weston. Not everyone just want to get starts. Not everyone just want to get starts. They made boat racing exciting on TV, and if you're there, it's like watching paint dry, and that's exactly right. Those big giant catamarans. We want this on KO. People want it on KO and all the rest. I watched a fishing competition the other day and just sat there and shook my head and thought, we can't get harness racing on. This was on Foxtel, but there's a whole channel to it on KO. People sitting on the dock fishing, but guess what they got? Underwater cameras on the top, cameras standing right next to people while stuff's happening. They're microphoned up. We can do it. We can actually do it, and it is not that hard to do. The other industries can't. Thoroughbreds, not a hope. You can't interview a jockey while he's going around to the starting gates. Most of the time they're hanging on. They can't talk. They're just saying we. So, yep, let's try something different. Good old Yabby Dam, sponsored by... Oh, yeah, see, Claire's thinking outside the square. She's thinking of ideas to get people to the track. Yabby Racing, and for my New Zealand people who may not know, yabbies are a little fish that looks like a crawfish, and go from there. Every time I keep saying I'm going to call it a day, it just keeps coming. We have lost the ability of getting young ones involved due to the insurance, etc. Kids used to jump on the side of a cart, get a ride to the track, wash horses down, actually have hands-on experience and get the bug. I struggle to keep my kids keen on doing pony trots because they can't get involved with the big ones at the races. And that is a problem. And that is something that has changed, and a lot of people don't realise that it has changed. My son raised a great issue. He said anyone outside the industry don't know what the Trots Vision is. He said get Trots Vision to stream on Channel 31 every Saturday night. That's free to air, that everyone can watch. Brett, absolutely. Only problem with that is two things. And Michael House says the next one, money. Money fixes it all. And when we can spend more. Also, Channel 31 is the only layer in Melbourne. So don't have an issue with it. I think it's a great idea. But it's not going to hit everyone, but it is a starting point. Imagine then if it could take off. Then we might be able to get it to KO and everyone can watch it on their phone and go from there. So plenty happening there. They only do these things on big days, where there are plenty of country meetings on the weekdays that would benefit from extra on-course entertainment. Or here's a silly thought. Do we not try and get people to the races on these midweek meetings? We just look after the participants, almost go back to like it was back at with COVID, and keep our expenses down and concentrate on our weekend races. There's another one. My God, I reckon Claire's been drinking. Seriously, I don't want to know what you were doing with the crocodile at a race meeting, Claire. But anyway, that may be another idea. Don't know. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much to everyone that's come in, everyone that has contributed. Hopefully, Powers of B watch and look at potentially programming or the NR system as being an issue. They read through all of the comments in their own time, and they may get one or two good ideas. Plenty of clubs out there doing plenty of great things. A lot of people want to get involved. Bendigo Harness Racing Club, great that they came on board and wanted to be a part of it as well. I really do appreciate it. I don't know the answers. I just know we've got to have fun. We've got to get people involved. Mark Hughes will be on next week. We'll be talking a lot of Woodlands, but we'll be talking everything else that's going on. Queensland Carnival. I had a text message from Brad Steele before. He has actually got... where is that? London to a Brick has been invited to the Great Square, I reckon, is what that means, the GS, but not 100% sure if that is that is it. But yeah, Cameron Grant and I will go sing around a campfire the next night. Thank you. Got to realise for the guys in New Zealand, it's 2 hours later, so it's nearly 10 o'clock. So I do appreciate it, Scotty. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you to every other person. Young ones used to be able to drive them around the parade ring and loved it. I cannot agree more, Stace. And that is an issue. Good night, Claire. That is an issue that the industry needs to have a look at. I think you can't be any Ian Hobbsy, another great Charlton man. Hello to you, Hobbsy. Great to see you tuning in late at night, but good to see you. Gary Newton, thank you. We've just got to put the ideas out there and go from there. I was going to say, I've just got been able to go to the races, lead horses around. I remember going and working for Vinnie Knight and get to drive motoring Mick when John E. Ryan drove him in the Victorian Derby. I think it was about their fifth runner that they had, or sixth runner in the Derby that year, but I was able to parade him, and it was the biggest kick ever. I don't know, I think I was about 14 or 15 at the time and just absolutely loved it. So, yeah, it's one of those memories you can never take away. Paul, will we get any feedback from this after tonight, please? Some good ideas? No idea, Alexandra. I don't work for Harness Racing Victoria. I work for myself. Just try to keep putting the messages out there and, I suppose, changing things up. I suppose in good time we might be able to find out if we do or not. Go from there. Cameron Grant, thanks Paul. Stipes told me off the other day for riding on the cart back to the tables. See you next time. Yep, and that's one of the issues. I understand they have a job to do and it's insurance, but maybe, I don't know. Not sure how we can do that at all. Get onto the Discovery Channel and create a harness show. Someone sent me a message, hey mate, get onto the Discovery Channel and create a harness show like Aussie Gold Hunters or Outback Opal Hunters. Yep, yeah, I think we can do that. Just another one for you to keep reading. Thank you very much, Stacey Towers. Smarty pants. The problem is, as I said, Facebook, I think, is over a minute delay, but with YouTube, it's about 40 seconds, 45 seconds. But by the time you time it, I've actually timed out by then. But I do appreciate everyone getting involved. I've had numerous people contact me via plenty of means and ways with text messages and people trying to, I suppose, get their point across. Honestly, the rating system is an issue. But this platform will not solve that. That's a story for another day. Breeders' bonuses, I think, is one that's been brought out as well tonight. But again, we need to be able to get the people there. We need to work out syndicates and start thinking about how we can get syndicates. Michael House says they don't work. So we're going to have a syndicate. We've got to call it the Michael House This Might Work Syndicate. School, Gemma Smallman from Nutrien there, might be time to hit the schools, career advisors, etc. Now they do that, Gem. I have to get in touch with Lee Graham, sorry, and see how that. Thanks, Claire. Might maybe when we can have a date tomorrow night at Kilmore. The girls are having a date. Hooroo, all fun. Met you all at the Jumping Castle sometimes, and she possibly would. The only problem you got, Stace, is it'll be too cold for Claire, so you'll have Ian. But yeah, good luck to you guys racing tomorrow night at Kilmore. Very, very quickly, well done to everyone there racing at Geelong tonight. Congratulations, Darren Pace and Chris Missud with Sports Rama, Paul Warnock and Joshy Dickey, and I'm Above the Law. Some good names here. Joe Pace and Adrian Pace. Been wondering where Joe's been. Ideal Son. Adrian's getting a few winners too, so well done to him. Joe and Adrian have got a double with Hurricane Franco, so well done to those guys. Al Bella Lucia for Paul Parsons and Cody Rockenberger. So well done to all of those. Is there any way we can race back into town? Brett, I don't know the answer to that. It is a great answer, but we would love to go from there. Yeah, sorry, getting messages everywhere. I don't know. Whoever sent me the Discovery Channel one, put your name on it. I don't know who it is. So that would make life a lot easier. I know the Kiwis love those outback chairs. Might bring the greens quick up to see Bibby. Birdie. All right. Very good. Thank you. Been a lot of fun. A lot of people are tuned in. As I said, this show is just here for the participants to get it out. It's every Wednesday, 6 o'clock within reason. There's always the odd time that it won't work, especially if I don't have service. But I will say thank you very much to everyone who's contributed and got involved. If you're watching for the first time, especially on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. And I thank you very much for everyone who has got involved and just had a little bit of fun. I'll see you all next week, but still keep thinking of ways that we can promote, change, get people thinking in a positive light about our industry, going to the races and having some fun and getting involved with their mates. Pretty simple. Surely someone out there can come up with an idea. Thank you.